I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for...
Hey guys, thanks for visiting Tech Connect. I'm Rivers, and today I want to show you some sample footage from the Sony a6500. And just for kicks, I've also got the iPhone 7 on here, so we'll have some comparison video on there as well. But the main focus is just on the low-light video of the a6500. So this first night was at the Winter Garden here in Boise. I'd say it was pretty difficult conditions to shoot video. First off, it was very cold, probably about 18 degrees, and I can tell you that the Sony a6500 handled just fine in the cold temperatures. The lighting was also very low, which can be hard to shoot video in. I put the camera in the metering mode of the entire screen averaging, which works amazingly well both on the light garden scene and the fireworks scene for New Year's. Most of the video I shot on the a6500 was in 4K at 24p in the Super 35mm mode, which uses almost the full sensor and I think looks the best. I also shot some of the video in 1080p at 60 frames per second, and it actually also looks really good here. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell the difference between the 4K and the 1080p unless you have a 4K monitor. So for New Year's, I went handheld because it was extremely crowded for the New Year's celebration, and the stabilization helped somewhat, although I got a little carried away at the end with all the crowds and everyone cheering, and it got kind of bouncy at the end, but I was amazed at how good it does on fireworks. And this wasn't quite as low light as the garden, but I thought it turned out really nice. I wish I would have had a tripod. With the setup I showed you earlier, I also attached my iPhone to the top of the camera and live streamed the New Year's event on Facebook while I shot the video on the camera. That worked out pretty slick. And finally I did the comparison to the iPhone, and I have to say the iPhone did not get crushed. It held its own pretty well, although the a65 beat it in most every category except for one, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So you can see here on the a6500 that it just looks better. The lighting looks more realistic, more vivid, and if you were to zoom in, it looks less grainy also. But the iPhone held up pretty well. Here you can see how good it looks zoomed in 4K. Next up, we have some extremely dark conditions, and it pushed both cameras to their limits, and I think it actually pushed the iPhone a little beyond its limit. The coloring is blue because there's some blue lights nearby, and also because it's so dark. Now here's some of the only 4K footage that I shot on the iPhone, unfortunately. Also, that board is green because there's a whole tree of green lights right behind me, but you can see the a6500 just smokes the iPhone in this one. And now we get to where the iPhone, I think, is ahead, and that is the stabilization. Of course, this is shot in 1080p, so I think the stabilization works much better in 1080p, but the iPhone looks great, and the a6500 is much more shaky, and these are both mounted on the exact same piece of metal, so they should be moving identically. And finally, I wanted to zoom in and see what the pixels look like close up. It's not really fair because the iPhone is only in 1080p right here, so I only zoomed in 200%, and you can see a lot of noise and distortion already. Now let's zoom in on the a6500's video, and we'll take that up to 200%, and it looks just as good as it did it zoomed out because this is a 4K image, and you can see there's not a ton of noise considering how dark it is. So let's take it up to 400%. And see how that looks. I think this still looks really good considering how dark it is, and I'm actually really impressed with the image quality on the a6500. Okay guys, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video and want to see more like it, hit that subscribe button down there, and give me a like, it'll help me out a ton. Thanks again, and as always, aloha.